Well, it's Christmas Eve. It's not Friday. I do apologise to any of our regulars, but it's going to be a busy Boxing Day in my family household. I believe it is for you as well, Debbie. So I think Christmas Eve is a good way to round off our show for 2025. I mean, I think we've only done. I think it's our eighth. It's only our eighth, I think, this one.
Is it just our? Yeah. Oh gosh, it feels as though we've been doing this forever, and I think we probably will be doing it forever as well.
I think we need to. Well, we both spoke off air on this. I think we need to be bringing more news.
Yeah.
In you know, I think that it's important that people have a place of sanity. And sometimes I know we bring humour to it, don't we, Debbie, as well? And I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but sometimes if we don't laugh, we cry. I know I do.
Well, no, I think laughing is the thing that they don't want us to do. And I'm all for, you know, I've been watching all of the protests and I really admire everybody in the protests. But I'm starting to think that rather than divide and have 2-3 different types of protests and all looking at different things, we should just be doing an anti-tyrannical government. We are all anti-tyrannical government, and I think you have to bring humor to it, because they don't want us to be happy. They don't want us to enjoy. They want us to be miserable. They want us to be frightened. They want us to be constantly on alert. They want us to be exhausted. So all of those things, we have to go, right, we're going to have a rest. We're not going to watch the television. We're not going to get upset. And we're going to smile and we're going to enjoy every single second, because that's what they don't want us to do. And I'm all for one for sticking a finger up to the government, which is why I think we should all come together. And instead of doing individual protests for individual things, whether it's climate change or whether it's pharmaceuticals or whether it's digital ID or whatever it is, let's all come together and just say, look, you know what? We are all anti a tyrannical government that is launching us into an age of totalitarianism. That's what we're all anti. Let's not divide ourselves. Let's all come together and let's be happy and smile while we're doing it.
100%, 100%. Because it is difficult, and that's why in numbers it's so much easier. That's why community is so important, where we all feel stronger in the numbers, don't we? If you're isolated, I always said that when I had the pub, you know, one of my mottos was nobody gets left behind, you know, and that's that. I think that's crucially important, that, you know, this 2025 has proven to be a really bizarre year. I always said 2025 and 2026 are going to be crazy years. And I haven't been proven wrong with this year. I think next year is going to be even more insane. And we need to be ready for that as well.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, we'll talk more. I think that you and I both been saying off camera that we want to do more than just one a week, and we'll talk more in the new year, and maybe we can ramp something up. But you know, we've got a last show of 2025, and what a way to end it by talking about the story that will not go away and should never go away, and that's Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein.
Well, you'll see why I say that later. You'll see why I say that on the video, that your show later. Epstein. I mean,
well, let's
it
go on.
Won't go away. It won't go away.
It can't go away, Debbie. It can't. You know, for whatever reason, these people are trying to make a mockery of this story.
Yeah. And you know what? Just to prove the point, I know this will come out backwards, but I never buy a paper normally. But when I was out this morning, every single, it does read it backwards, but Andrew, fun girls and inappropriate friends, Epstein files reveal new email exchanges. I just bought the Eye as an example, but every single front page is carrying this today. So I just wanted to show you that as an example.
Absolutely. Oh, and Merry Christmas to you, Sarah. Merry Christmas,
happy
Jelly
Christmas.
Bean, and anyone who's watching. Obviously, you know, all the best wishes and love to you all. But let's get stuck into this. So Donald Trump had a few things to say over the past few days. So let's start with a clip with Mr. Trump on Jeffrey Epstein.
Were you surprised by the number of photos of Bill Clinton in the Epstein files? And can you commit to their full? And were you surprised by the number of photos of Bill Clinton in the Epstein files? And can you commit to their full release by the end of the year? Some of the victims were protesting that too many of them were redacted.
I know there are a lot of people that are angry about all of the pictures of other people, but I think it's terrible. Look, I don't like I like Bill Clinton. I've always gotten along with Bill Clinton. I've been nice to him. He's been nice to me. We've always gotten along. Respect him. I hate to see photos come out of him, but this is what the Democrats, mostly Democrats, and a couple of bad Republicans are asking for. So they're giving their photos of me too. Everybody was friendly with this guy, either friendly or not friendly, but he was around. He was all over Palm Beach and other places. The head of Harvard was his best friend, Larry Summers. And Bill Clinton was a friend of his, but everybody was. I actually threw him out of Mar-a-Lago. And as a person that was in Mar-a-Lago, I threw him out. Mar-a-Lago, this is Mar-a-Lago. It's the hottest place I think it's the hottest place in the world, but it's the hottest place in Florida. And everybody would come here. He'd come here. We actually threw him out. But no, I don't like the pictures of Bill Clinton being shown. I don't like the pictures of other people being shown. I think it's a terrible thing. I think Bill Clinton's a big boy. He can handle it. But you probably have pictures being exposed of other people that innocently met Jeffrey Epstein many years ago. And they're, highly respected bankers and lawyers and others. And they'll end up, because of guys like Massey, who's a real lowlife, whose polls are down to about 9%, by the way, in the great state of Kentucky. If you look at Kentucky, Kentucky is such a great place, but I don't know, they've got a couple of people on there that are very strange in terms of leadership, but Massey's a loser, and he likes it, and that he works with the Democrats. He's just being used by the Democrats, because what this whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has. Like, for instance, today we're building the biggest ships in the world, most powerful ships in the world, and they're asking me questions about Jeffrey Epstein. I thought that was finished. I believe they gave over 100,000 pages of documents, and there is tremendous backlash. It's an interesting question, because a lot of people are very angry that pictures are being released of other people that really had nothing to do with Epstein, but they're in a picture with him because he was at a party, and you ruin a reputation of somebody. So a lot of people are very angry that this continues. A lot of Republicans are angry because of the fact that it's just used to deflect against a tremendous success. Look, we have 8.
Okay, so again, there's a lot of deflection going on there. I mean, but I think it's hilarious as well. I think when he first started to try and get into office, he was talking about having Hillary Clinton put behind bars. That was part of his election kind of promotion, wasn't it? And build the Great Wall and all that kind of stuff with Mexico. And then this time round, he was talking about releasing the Epstein files. That was part of his thing. But every time they bring this out, it's redacted, isn't it? That everything's just redacted, and it's the same again with this one. Everything. I mean, there are images out there and everything else, but this is the kind of stuff we're getting. It's just redacted stuff. It's so they're trying poorly, which we'll get to in a minute. They're trying poorly to hide things, Debbie.
Oh, that's just a page of black lines. It's not even redacted, is it? It's just a page of black lines. There is no information there at all. And I thought it was interesting when Trump was talking there that it was almost like pity for Bill Clinton. It was like, well,
yeah.
I like him, I like Bill, but you know what? He's a big boy. He can look after himself. And it's like, what?
Well, he called him Bubba, didn't he, at one time? So maybe he knew he was a big boy.
Wow, there's another conversation perhaps for after hours. But I mean, clearly this whole thing is it stinks. It absolutely stinks.
So there you are, Mr. Redaction, it seems. But yeah, of course it stinks, and this is why it's important to. And there's going to be many people talking about this, obviously. But speaking of Clinton, Clinton's apparently wanting wanting information out. Now we know they play theatre, don't they? They play this theatre game. So apparently Clinton's office has demanded a full transparency with the Epstein files. The quote that I've got is, "What the Department of Justice have released so far and the manner in which it did so makes one thing clear: someone or something is being protected. We do not know whom, what, or why, but we do know this: we need no such protection," Clinton is saying, which is interesting, when I think we all know Clinton's not a good guy.
I think we all know that there's an awful lot of people that are not good guys and gals. You know, it's not just limited to men here. We've got many female names that are being mentioned. Nicole Junkerman, that's another story. But, you know, there are some, there's a lot of names being mentioned now. And yes, Bill certainly does have some explaining to do, doesn't he, Tubba Bubba? I mean, honestly, can you imagine waking up to that headline? Really? Can you imagine just waking up and you've been labelled, the whole world is knowing you as Tubba Bubba? Really?
Well, you know what? I think that the problem, we kind of put these people thinking that they're like we are, Debbie. They're not, are they? So does Bill Clinton care? I mean, I don't think he does. These people think they're untouchable. They get away with everything. They're soulless.
I mean, you know, as you're looking at Bill Clinton, I've been looking at Meghan Markle. And I'm looking at the stuff that she's constantly putting out. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute. Does she not care? Has she no self-aware? I mean, I realize that there is zero self-awareness, but isn't somebody just giving her a nudge somewhere and saying, look, every single step you're taking is a step you're digging yourself further into a grave? You know, is anybody not advising her? I cannot, or saying to these people, you should care? Or is it just because they're, in my opinion, perhaps demons, and demons don't have souls? And so if you don't have a soul, you have no emotion. And maybe emotion is what it's everything is about. It's trying to capture our emotions, trying to capture our thoughts, trying to capture the most private part of our beings, which is our memories and our minds. That's what these demons, if you like to call them, are trying to capture. So perhaps the likes of Bill Clinton and Meghan Markle, they genuinely don't feel anything because they have no souls and they're not capable of feelings.
Well, there's something not right, and this is one of the areas I've been diving into since I started the Stellified channel. Really, is what is it that these people gain from this? You know, they've already got wealth and they've already got power and everything else, but there's something more esoteric and demonic and dark that goes on. And I'm the more I go into it, the more I'm convinced of it. I know it's not for everybody, but I am convinced of it. Hence why I think this transhumanism agenda is so important, because they want to live forever, you know, and that's what that's about, you know. So they want us as cyborgs and as the program tools for you know, while those billionaire dark entities live in their physical form forever. That's ultimately what their plan is, and it's a sick plan. But you know, the likes of Clinton, he's just a disgrace. The guy's a disgrace, and you know,
they all are.
They all are, and they don't care. They don't care at all.
No. And that makes me wonder, when I go back to listening to Dr. James Giordano, and tons to say about Dr. James Giordano, but he said transhumanism, because you mentioned transhumanism there, and you know that I've been doing huge deep dives, going down rabbit warrens, never mind rabbit holes, when it comes to transhumanism. And I'm starting to think maybe James Giordano said, when we go from humans 1.0, which is you and me, we go into transhumanism stage 1. So it's a bit like when you were updating your iPhone. So you had the iPhone 1, and then it went to 2, and then 3 and 4, and you had to keep updating and adding things, and then the 1 wouldn't work because you were on 4, and you know, all that rubbish. So what happens when people do comply perhaps, and they transition to transhumans 1? So when you're a transhuman 1, those that have the money and those that have the means, they will then evolve to transhuman 2. And
Yeah.
eventually, I mean, this transhumanism agenda is never ending, because it'll just be modification. It's interesting, actually, because just off air, I know before we came on air, I was talking about a book I was reading, and this is the most incredible book. It's called Human Enhancement, and it involves Nick Bostrom. And Nick Bostrom was the director of the Future of Humanity Institute in Oxford, which is now closed, I have to say. But this is talking about enhancements. So it doesn't sound quite as dramatic as transhumanism, but that's exactly what this is and what constitutes an enhancement. And those that are rich and have the means to do it, that's exactly where they'll be going. This is the agenda. They want to live forever. They want to live forever. No thanks. And that's the thing. When you get to transhumanism, will you ever be able to die? Because what happens to you when you go from transhuman 1 to 2? Do you recycle the transhumans 1? Do you put them in some sort of silo? Do you use them for spares? What happens? So, you know, this is a massive agenda, and I think maybe it's one for the new year if anybody's interested.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, I think people forget as well, is Epstein was a transhumanist. That he
They
was,
all
you know.
are.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And
I'm trying to pick my pen up.
you're all
They
right. And
all are.
he worked closely with Bill Gates on patents as well. You know, so they like you said, they all are.
Peter
Yeah.
Thiel is, Elon Musk is, Jared
Yeah.
Kushner, who is, you know, Donald Trump's son-in-law, Ivanka Trump's husband. He said that he hopes, and I've got it on video, he hopes that his generation will either be the first to live forever or the last to ever die. Now, he's only in his, early 40s, perhaps?
Yeah.
So they're all transhumanists. Peter Thiel being one of the biggest, Palantir, Elon Musk, Larry Ellison, all of these tech globalists are transhumanists.
Yeah.
Stephen Fry in the UK. There's loads in the UK, our celebrities as well, that are transhumanists.
It's anti-human, and it's well, it goes against everything that's in my soul anyway, in my heart. I can,
Anti-creation.
Yeah, completely. So do you remember the other week? I think we talked about a lady called Marjorie Taylor Greene, who went loggerheads with Trump. She was very much part of Donald Trump's administration. Well, she's done a 60 seconds interview as well, so there's a nice clip of her. I think it's important to share this because people, I know the way this is working in terms of the Q movement. They're basically saying this was done on purpose. This redaction from Trump is all on purpose. You know, it's part of the plan. You know, and it's part of. But I just want to play a few things because I think we need to balance that up a little bit.
We did talk about the Epstein files, and he was extremely angry at me that I had signed the discharge petition to release the files. I fully believe that those women deserve everything they're asking. They're asking for all of it to come out. They deserve it. And he was furious with me.
What did he say?
He said that it was going to hurt people. We did talk about.
So when he's saying hurt people, who does he mean?
Quite. Well, he seemed, according to that clip that we saw earlier, it was almost like he was protecting the people that he was deeming to be photographed with Epstein, perhaps innocently at a party. And then because they were in a photograph, that he seemed to be in a protection mode. And that's where I say that tone was completely different. He was pitying Bill Clinton, and he seemed to be protecting everybody other than the victims.
Yeah. No, it's
Peter
bizarre.
Thiel.
Reptile. They say it on the tin, don't they?
Yeah, they really do. Palantir.
Palantir. Yeah. Do you remember as well Kash Patel?
Oh, FBI.
The FBI guy. So yeah, he basically under oath.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday. that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited
So the answer is no one
for the information that we have
in the files.
in the case.
Madness, isn't
I
it?
just got a thing watching it. I'm sure that's a metaphysical sign. I mean, you know, where do you start with Kash Patel? Where do you start with that man? Who, I mean, Donald Trump, you know, for anybody that thinks that Donald Trump is coming to save us, just look at who he is surrounded by. He's surrounded by globalists. He's surrounded by people with very dubious pasts, very strange CVs. How have they gotten to the positions that they're in? Why have they gotten there? I mean, he is surrounded. You know, talk about drain the swamp. It's just like, well, fill it even more. Why don't you? You know, Donald Trump is not here to make Britain great again. He's not here to make the world great again. He's like, he's a showman. All the world's a stage.
Well, he's on IMDb. He's an actor.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And most of them are, because it's all theatre, obviously. So we've got CNN did a report though regarding Donald Trump, and we'll just play that.
30,000 pages of documents from the Epstein files released overnight, including one which was a letter sent by Jeffrey Epstein, apparently in the days before he took his own life, to convicted sex abuser Larry Nassar, who, again, convicted of abusing so many U.S. gymnasts over the years. In that letter, Epstein wrote to Nassar, "Our president," and he was referring, it seems, to President Donald Trump at the time, "our president also shares our love of young, nubile girls."
But we know this really. What gets me though is do people care enough?
I think the as you said right at the beginning, the Epstein story is never ever going to go away. It's just not. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the day. But I think depending on where you are will trigger your interest. I mean, I know you've been looking very much at the American sort of reaction and what's been going on across the pond. I've been looking very much at what's been going on in the UK as a result of these revelations, and how it involves the invisible man. And the invisible man, there was an email released from an invisible man to Ghislaine Maxwell, asking for new friends, new inappropriate friends. And it was the email also included, the content was, "I'm at Balmoral for a summer gala. The girls are shattered. I'll have to give them an early night." And it was signed A. So everybody has, and everybody, as you can see on the front page of every single newspaper this morning, is saying that this is Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. And we have here a man who there is enough compelling evidence now to put him squarely in the frame. He has avoided questioning. He is now, people have organizations and agencies have closed down investigations because they say, you know, they've just closed them down. How convenient. No, it's not convenient at all. It's absolutely shocking. This man, he might be in exile, but he's still living in luxury. According to Andrew Lowney, who was his, who did the big reveal on the then Duke of York, he said that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is a hoarder, and everything he will still have. The evidence will still be there. He hoards everything. And yet he is now still living in luxury, And let's not forget the scandal of, was he in a relationship with Meghan Markle prior to her meeting Prince Harry? And it would seem, and I mean, this isn't coming out of my mouth. I mean, you can look on YouTube and there's plenty of it on there and nobody's closing it down. So there's obviously no smoke without fire into Meghan Markle. But you look at all of this now with the royal family, and this is absolutely, it's breaking the royal family. The royal family is crumbling I can't say I'm terribly sorry about it, but it's crumbling. And people say, oh, you know, William's going to come in and William's going to, he's going to absolutely squeeze the royal family down to pretty much nothing. Well, you have to remember that the money that they're receiving, the royal family, is, I mean, it goes into trillions. They're getting it everywhere. So the less of them you've got, the richer the ones that are left will become. So it's not about thinning the royal family down in saving money. It's about accumulating the money for the few who deem themselves royal enough to remain in the crown purse. So, and in the public purse. So at the end of the day, I mean, don't even start me on the royal family, but the Andrew and Epstein emails are clearly damning, and the royal family, the king, not my king, the king has handled this completely wrong. The Queen must have known, Queen Elizabeth must have known about this and kept it quiet, because
Oh yeah.
Andrew was the favourite. It's been going on in the whole family. You've got to say to yourself, look, at the end of the day, there are paedophiles surrounding the royal family. Fact. We've got Lord Mountbatten, well, the now late Lord Mountbatten. We've got the late Jimmy Savile, who was allegedly going to be Prince Harry's godfather. We've got Van der Post, Lawrence Van der Post, who is, even though he's died, he is still Sir Lawrence Van der Post and listed as Prince William's godfather. So this is a family that are absolutely disgusting in my opinion, all of them. And just as a little extra, the King's speech has been leaked this year, and apparently he's going to be speaking at Westminster Abbey in the Ladies' Chapel, and the theme is going to be all about multi-faith cohesion. It's all going to be about environment. Now, he is meant to be the leader of the Church of England. The Church of England, you know, the churches that are being converted into mosques, you know, the churches where we're not allowed to say it's Christmas anymore. We have to say it's Happy Holidays or Evergreen, and, you know, Christmas seems to have gone. So this multi-faith cohesion and environment is like a political speech. This is the one opportunity for the king, not my king, for the king to speak directly to his people. That is the reason for the message at Christmas. That is the traditional message. And yet he's going to make it a political message. He is not reading the room. And it's also, the king's speech is meant to be his own words. So he's not meant to be influenced. He's not meant to be helped or anything with this speech. It doesn't get written for him. It's meant to be his words. So we'll see. We'll just see. But it's not just his Christmas message that we have to look out for. It's Keir Starmer's Christmas message too, because he's coming in on the angle of, oh, we're going to make the cost of living far better for everybody. Oh, don't worry, everyone. Smooth it all down. We're coming in to save you. It's all a load of, dare I say it, at 1:30 of an afternoon. It's bullshit. It's utter bullshit. I cannot watch the Not My King speech. I cannot watch it. Perhaps I'll see clips of it afterwards, but there is absolutely no way. So yeah, I've been looking very much when it comes back to, because I've rambled, but when it comes back to Epstein, I've been looking at the UK
because
connections.
It covers both sides, obviously, because Andrew's, you know, it's such a huge story.
It's
obviously
massive.
the man doesn't sweat.
No,
You know,
I bet he is now.
Again, I think the problem is with these people, there's a few issues I find, is that, you know, they think they're untouchable.
Yeah.
Why do they feel they're untouchable? Because we allow them to be untouchable.
We have to, honestly, we really do have to do something about this. It's in our hands. You know, we, the people, in numbers, we can look what happened in Bulgaria. You know, there were 2 days, 2 evenings or an evening of protest where everyone came out, candlelit, peacefully against the government. And this is why I keep saying we've got to stop. As marvelous and as fantastic as these protests have all been, it's say no to COVID, it's say no to injections, it's say no to digital ID, it's saying no to immigration. Let's just have an anti-totalitarian government, anti-tyranny government, where everybody, because everyone is seeing something, right? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
out there talking to people in supermarkets, talk about Sainsbury's later. I'm out there talking to people in supermarkets, on the street. Everybody can see something. Everyone is cheesed off with something. So if everybody doesn't worry about the bigger picture, just look at your little thing that's cheesing you off, whether it's digital ID, whether it's climate, whether it's the injections, whatever it is, we all are on the same page. So it doesn't matter that one person's got that little bit that's on climate and that other person that's got that little bit on digital. It doesn't matter. We're all seeing something. We're all feeling something. We're all lifting our consciousness, and the veil is getting thinner and thinner, and we're all knowing that something is wrong. Everybody, even if it's the bloke down the road that says, oh, my pot of honey's gone up by 50%, this is ridiculous. Everybody's got something that they're cheesed off with, and if we all come together, regardless of what we're cheesed off about, if we all come together, numbers make a difference. We are strong in numbers. They would not expect that. They wanted us to be divided.
Well, they must be worried about that, though, Debbie. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it the way they're doing it, you know, in terms of...
That's why we need someone to bring everybody together. Everybody. You know, I see people from this country that have been born in this country, but their parents are from another country, whether they're from Africa or whether they're from India, Asia, and they are as angry. They are as angry with this immigration issue that we've got going on now. They do not want to see people taking over our country. They came to this country because they loved this country. They've contributed to this country. They feel part of this country. They respect our culture. They've integrated into our culture. They're as angry about it as we are, you know? And when it comes to COVID, the vaccinated, and especially those with vaccine injuries, they're as angry about it as the unvaccinated. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter what your difference is. We're all the same because we're all angry. We're all up in arms. We're all concerned for the future of not just our children, but of humanity. So if we can all just say, look, let's make it one big anti-government, anti-tyranny protest, perhaps we might get somewhere.
You could be very right there, Debbie. I think it is crucial that we come together more because we are very much divided. Everyone's fighting each other. The truth movement's completely
what happened when you
destroyed.
went, and well, look what happened at the digital ID protest when you went to the last one. The police had very cannily organised 3 protests in a line. And yet every single person was, if you extracted every single person from every single protest and said, are you angry with the government? I guarantee you they would all have said yes. And then I would have said, quit the barriers, get everybody together. We'll all stand outside Downing Street and we'll all lift our flags, whatever the flag is, and we'll all be anti what the government are doing.
I agree with you. I agree. Just to finish off on Epstein, I don't know if you saw this, you know, the redacted files that were released. They didn't do a good job of it. So basically, they used Adobe and you could copy and paste. So let me just show you this.
Why you should be careful about redacting things in a PDF. Essentially, it's because if you don't do it the right way, people can just copy the text behind it and then paste it into a notepad and it'll show you what the text was. And it turns out the U.S. Department of Justice actually made that mistake with some of the Epstein files. So here's one of the files from justice.gov and here's the redacted part. I can literally just copy behind it. And if I go to my Word document over here and hit paste, why you should be careful about redacting things in a PDF. Essentially, it's because...
Wow.
I'm 2 ways with this. Do they get it wrong? Do they get that horribly wrong, or has somebody done that on purpose?
Ooh.
Because
do you know what?
That's a big mistake. That's a big mistake. If they're gonna try and hide stuff, that's a massive, massive mistake.
I think a similar thing happened to a colleague of mine. and they received documents that they clearly shouldn't have received. And it's always remained to this day, was it a leak? Did somebody just hit a button because they thought that person needs to have those documents, or was it just sloppy? And you know what? I don't think you're ever going to know the answer to that question. Just be grateful that the error's made. But actually that bodes the question, and I'll ask you because I don't know. So if somebody's watching this and they're going to put a document up on social media and they're going to redact it, and a lot of people use the coloring pens, don't they, and the ruler, and they just cross it out with the black marker and keep using the black marker. Can that be got through as well? I mean, how safe is redacting and putting stuff online, Ant?
I don't know. I don't know if anything's particularly heavily, anything can be 100% secure anymore, especially in the digital world anyway. It's
because if you think about it, a lot of people will put up a letter that they've received and they'll cross out their address and any personal details, and then they'll post it. So I think the question there is how safe is your data? Can someone get past, even if it's like 100 lines of black?
I'm pretty sure there's technology out there that could get through most things, and then again, nothing is very safe, hence why this digital ID thing is so important for me, is that nothing is secure. Everything's centralized on a server. Your whole biometrics is the most ridiculous idea of anything, because once somebody has your biometrics, you can't change your fingerprints, you can't change your eyes, you can't change your face too much unless you're pumping yourself full of Botox and fillers. But you literally, they're yours. They're your. There's nothing else like it ever. And in India, I know from looking into it, a hacker was able to take God knows how many people's fingerprints and use those. So there were God knows how many people that couldn't access services, bank accounts, and this, that, and the other because of hackers. So anyone who thinks this is a good idea needs their heads testing, I'm afraid. So,
well, I've got a question. So I want to know because when I was growing up, it was absolutely the mark of shame if you'd had your fingerprints taken by because if, to have your fingerprints taken, there had to be a case against you if the police would take your fingerprints. So you did not want your fingerprints taken. Now, I don't understand what's happened between my generation going, never give fingerprints, and if you have had to give fingerprints, it's not a good thing. Whereas now we're all very happy to give our fingerprints. I don't understand where the change happened, because it was almost seamless, because it's just now it's gone from no fingerprints to, give your face, give your ID, give your biometrics, your fingerprints, your palm print, everything.
They've normalized it using the phones, haven't they? So people are just like willy-nilly just using the phone to access using either a fingerprint or the face. And I'll just state that I've looked into this as well. I think Samsung's different, but the Apple iPhone has a separate chip for that biometric data. It doesn't necessarily mean anyone's accessing that, but it still normalizes the use of your biometrics. That's the problem. Kids these days are getting their food at lunchtimes using fingerprints.
Yeah.
So they're normalizing all of this now. So in 5-10 years time, it means nothing.
Well, here's my question for the chat, because what I don't understand is, back in my day, sorry to go back to my day, but back in my day, if you had money in the building society, you had a little book and you'd go with your book and they'd write the amount or they'd deduct it, and it was all paper. And if you wanted to take your money out, you'd take your money out and you'd take it home and you'd squirrel it away, or you'd spend it on what you needed to spend it on. But you wouldn't walk around with maybe £1,000 in cash back then. You just wouldn't. You also wouldn't walk around with all of your private medical data. And I mean, if, people would be walking around with carrier bags, right? But you wouldn't walk around with your private medical data. You wouldn't walk around with your private photographs and your photograph albums and your wedding albums and all the rest of it. You wouldn't walk around with all your valuables. And yet now everybody's putting everything into their phone. You lose your phone,
I know.
everything's gone. I don't understand it. This is why I am desperate. And I've been right from the get go, I've been scrap the app. You know, the app is the key to digital prison. But we need to take away 2 letters, I and M, off mobile. No, add I and M to mobile and make mobile immobile. So don't take your phone out with you when you can possibly help it, unless it's, you know, unless you're leaving the kids with a babysitter or whatever and you need contact. We didn't have that in our day. We just had to rely on people, trust people, and use a red phone box when we passed one. You know, we couldn't do this in our day. Leave your phone at home. We need to reduce the time that people are dependent upon their phones, and then they will engage more with people when they're out. They'll also achieve more when they're not with their phone, because they won't be constantly distracted or constantly interrupted. I mean, if you're working in an operating theatre, you do not want your phone going beep, beep every 2 seconds with an email or a text or a notification. Leave your phone at home. Make it immobile. And then that's at least another way you're not going to be tracked. I know there's a million CCTV cameras out there, but just don't add to helping them. Don't help them in any way, shape or form.
I'd say the design and the mobile phone, the way it's been designed, because they would have future-proofed this. They knew exactly where it was heading. The transhumanists would have known exactly what would happen. They know human behavior. It's the most insidious of inventions. They know exactly what they were doing. Just to end on Epstein, the clip that you sent me regarding, because you've been talking about this, about the drug side of things. So we'll play this bit and then we'll move on.
Okay.
Where is the sound here?
Think of it, by 1,000%, by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400% in some cases.
Let's move it back a little touch so we missed the
Drugs,
context there.
we're bringing down drug prices like at a level that has never even been thought of, by thousands. Think of it, by 1,000%, by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400% in some cases. A drug that sells for $10 in London is costing $130 in New York. We're bringing it down to $20, and they're going to go up to 20. So they're going from 10 to 20, which is a doubling. It's a doubling. It's a lot, but it's a doubling. But we're going down to 20. So we're going down, if you can do your own math, but it's 2,000%, 3,000%. It's pretty amazing. And, you know, the New York Times had a story about it, a small story way in the back of the paper. It's the single biggest thing to happen with respect to drugs probably in 50 years. It's never been anything like this. In my first term, I was able to get drug prices down 0.25%. It's the first time in 28 years that they went down. 0.25%. I'm so proud of myself. Now we're doing them 2,000%, 1,500%, 1,200%. That pill that sold for $130 will now be selling, as an example, for $20.
Okay. So,
and there you have it. So I've said right from the get-go, we are in a drugs war. This is the biggest drugs war we have ever been in. And the NHS, the drug prices are going to shoot up. But those drugs are going to be for rare diseases, right? So your basic generic drugs for the majority of the population, your cheap penicillins, your steroids, antibiotics, all these things that you're used to having, they are now being replaced by these hugely expensive biopharmaceutical products that are costing a huge amount of money. So, for example, my biggest concern, apart from all of the injections that are going on with regards to vaccines and flu and everything else, are the skinny fat jabs. These are being rolled out in their thousands, millions. And I think it's 1 in 20 Brits are now on these drugs. Now, for example, what Trump was saying there is, I'm going to bring the drug prices way down. So I'm going to make Wegovy or Mounjaro, I'm going to make that available. Oh, and by the way, Pfizer are now in the game. Pfizer are now right in the game for skinny jabs. Yeah, along with the rest of them. And Trump and Albert Bourla are best mates. So Trump's going to bring all of these drug prices down for the USA. So something that's been costing £130, Mounjaro, is now going to cost $130, is now going to cost $20. However, in the UK, where it was £20, it's now going to be £130. It's more than doubled. And sometimes it's gone up to, I think it's 300 for one of the brands for per month. And not everyone can get these drugs on the NHS. So a lot of people are having to buy them, and a lot of people are buying fakery and all sorts of drugs that aren't, well, I mean, they're all poison, right? They're all, but this skinny jab, fat jab agenda worries me hugely. Nobody should be on them. They are extremely dangerous, in my opinion. And now Novo Nordisk have just announced that they're going to be bringing out a skinny pill. So people are going to be put on skinny pills. And I guarantee you that it will be the British that have these experimented on at a hugely high price. And while Trump is busy trying to poison everybody in America for less, the people in the UK are being poisoned for more. And my advice is stay away from the skinny jabs, stay away from the fat jabs. They're not safe. They're black triangle medications. And I see them as the next big catastrophe. And I worry so much for people that have dodged everything so far, dodged the masks, dodged the vaccines, dodged everything, but they've succumbed to the fat jab because it seems like an easy fix. And I would strongly urge people to go back to calorie counting, exercise. You know, those are the old-fashioned ways. Eat healthy, up your exercise a little bit. Even if you're struggling to exercise, perhaps just exercise from your chair. You know, just lift up your legs a few times, lift up your arms a few times, get a tennis ball and start to squeeze tennis ball. Just exercise. Everybody can do a little bit. And by that, you'll lose weight safely. Whereas you just hit these skinny and fat jabs, you could end up with more problems than you started out with. So Trump and the UK and Starmer are in one big drugs war. And there's more to come on that.
There will be more to come on that. Yeah. I've got a hurty words section, Debbie.
Oh dear.
So, because we haven't got a great deal of time left, but let's try and get through some of this. I don't know if you saw this the other day. COVID denier was jailed for 3 years after urging armed revolt. Now it's alleged that he was talking online about, you know, attacking, if you're using violence, if you like, stir up the idea of a violent revolt. Now, I don't know what's true there in terms of those allegations, but what is worrying massively, obviously, is that they are putting people in jail for opinions rather than reprimanding them if they need to be reprimanded. I'm not, you know, saying he even deserved to be reprimanded. I don't know the full story. I'm just bringing this up really, that you know, we're seeing this all year in the UK. There's this particular I'll bring this video up now, where this doctor was arrested at her own home the other day. So let me bring this up.
There's 2 incidents on social media on the 8th and the 27th of August this year.
On the 8th and the 27th of August. Why didn't you ask me just to come to the police station for an interview? So why didn't you have to come to my house?
We're not the investigating officers, we've just been asked to conduct this arrest inquiry, which is why we're here. We only have limited details about what's happened.
Are you sure?
We'll get you. Where's your phone?
Are you going to make us stay overnight?
Don't know. It's up to the investigation team. They'll come and speak to your mum and go from there.
I feel really bad for my children.
I can't even just go and get my own wallet.
We'll get up, yeah.
I know it seems silly.
It seems very, very silly. It's what crime I'm going to commit to my own house within a radius of 4 meters?
So I understand what you're saying.
We're going to Islington Police Station. This new Camden haven't got a police station custody yet. Islington's next closest.
So Ellen is a consultant paediatrician, and she's been suspended by hospital, and her medical license has been suspended because she spoke against the genocide in Gaza. You can't have opinions online, it seems, without getting yourself into trouble, which is they're making people frightened of saying anything at all. You know, you're automatically, before you send a tweet now, you're thinking about, is this going to get me in trouble? And that's what they want. So all this information that's been flooded out there of people getting arrested, it's going to have a psychological effect. And people are going to stop having opinions.
Well, here's my opinion for what it's worth. My opinion is that, well, it's not my opinion, actually. I think it's, double check me on this, but I think in the UK, there were 30,000, I'm sure it was 30,000 people jailed for social media posts in a year, which is the most in any country. So we are the highest country for imprisoning people and convicting them of hurty words and social media posts. And the other thing that I'll say with regards to that's a paediatrician. So we're pretty short-staffed in the NHS, so we're told, and paediatricians, consultants in children. And we have a lot of sick children at the moment. A lot of children. God bless them all. A lot of children. So to take a paediatrician off a vital role like that, for that reason, in my opinion, is just completely disproportionate when you have got the likes of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, who has more evidence every single day piling up against him, and he's living in luxury, in hiding. And whilst you've got other people that are convicted of very serious crimes, and they're either being let off or they're being jailed and then released inadvertently or released early and being rehabilitated in society. So it seems that our inversion now, everything, you know, the hurty words is far more dangerous than somebody like Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, who has, well, need I say any more? That's my opinion. And also, when you said, you know, you're going to get imprisoned now for your thoughts and for your opinions. No, now it's going to be your expressions. So if your expression, they deem it to be threatening or they deem it to be anti the government narrative, then that you will be punished and penalized for your facial expressions as well. Hence, facial recognition. Is somebody looking hostile? Is somebody in a bad mood? Is somebody angry? Is somebody frustrated? They're going to look for those. Is somebody non-compliant, defiant? So, you know, that's where we're heading.
We're heading that way if the people don't come together. It's down to the people. Really, I think this is why this awareness has got to be put out there. So we've also got a new the EHRC chair, a lady called Dr. Mary Ann Stevenson, has been warning of demonizing rhetoric against immigrants. So I'll just play a little bit of this because we haven't got a lot of time. So let me just play this quickly.
The new head of Britain's Equalities Watchdog, who was chosen by Labour insiders, has said anyone who raises concerns about migration is a risk to Britain.
Yeah, she sounds nice, doesn't she? She's Dr. Mary Ann Stevenson, and she is also a big supporter of the European Convention on Human Rights. Now, her intervention is already drawing sharp criticism from parties like Reform UK. What are we going to say about them? Well, let's go to political commentator Suzanne Evans on all of this. And I'm just pointing out what this lady is all about and what is her problem. How can she be in a neutral role, this Dr. Mary Ann Stevenson, when she's basically saying, if you don't agree with me, you're on the naughty step?
Well, You say it's a neutral role, but let's not forget how this role comes to be. It's one that's appointed by the Prime Minister. So Sir Keir Starmer himself has appointed her to this position. And she does have a long history of left-wing politics. She's been a member of the Fawcett Society, which is very much a left-wing institution. And that's the sort of person she is. So on the one hand, we have Sir Keir Starmer talking daily about the boats being a problem, about smash the gangs, which he has previously criticised for being the wrong approach. And now here she is in this position. So once again, we have this sort of two-tier Keir ideology.
I had seen that, funnily enough, when we talked earlier. I said I had seen that, but very quickly, I just want to. I'll let you take it because it's your piece. But very quickly, when I watched it, we've all heard of the Fabian Society, but I hadn't heard of the Fawcett Society, and I thought,
not heard that.
What's the Fawcett Society? So from what I can, because I did go and look, and it's all women. So it's a women's organization, like women's rights, women's power, stuff like that. I haven't gone into it in any depth, but I think that's going to be something for the Christmas holiday to look at.
Yeah, it never stops.
Never stops.
I mean, we'll go back a little bit where you were talking about hurty words and people being arrested and things like that. They're on about a trial without jury. You know, they want to force that through. They want to get to the point where it's trial by AI. You know, that's where it's all heading. So your hurty words will be instantly. So your digital ID would allow you on your social media. You know, they're already in Australia, they're banned under 16s, you know, so-called to access social media. They're talking about doing that over here as well. They know kids will make the way around that. They know that kids will make the way around that. So then they'll go, well, we need digital ID. So we need to have no anonymous accounts on social media. We know where they're heading with it. And then your hurty words will be an instant boom. Anything in the digital, it's instant. There's no instant fine, instant no access to your services. This is where it's all going. They won't have room in the prisons. They won't have the physical room. They won't need to, because you won't be able to do anything.
Gulags, that's what the gulags are coming for. You see, those are all that. You remember how the prisons are all overcrowded, and yet we sprung those Nightingale hospitals up quick enough, so they'll create room. What is it about the super prisons? These hurty words, honestly, we are it's 1984, and we all have to join together. Honestly, I know I keep saying it, I'm like a record, but whatever your difference is, whether it's climate, whether it's the political agenda, whether it's digital ID, whether it's chemtrails, whether it's the price of your honey, whether it's the shortage of coffee, whatever it is, everyone needs to stand together. And yeah, 15-minute jelly bean there. 15-minute cities are the prison. They are the world, I think. The earth is a prison. We're a prison planet. But you know, at the end of the day, we need the numbers. We can't have all of this separation. We cannot allow them to divide us. We have to. If the price of your honeypot is cheesing you off, that is a good enough reason for you to be standing up, because your honey's going to go up and up and up, and in the end, you're not going to get any honey because it's going to be extinct, gone.
And it's Christmas time. And you know,
that's a whole nother story.
This is the thing. So talking about hurty words and offended, fairy tale of New York. You know, I think I was in the car with my daughter the other day. Yes, definitely Debi for PM. I'll back you 100 million% there. And I'd never heard the version of Fairy Tale in New York where they changed the words. I'd never heard it. Yeah, they changed the words faggot to something else. And I was like, I actually felt physically sick. Physically sick, I felt listening to it. They've changed the words. Apparently, the BBC have banned the song. There's trigger warnings now for Christmas Carol and Oliver.
It's just we've gone to, but then I met somebody in a supermarket the other day who said to me, "I'm never going to Morrison's again," and I went, "Why not?" And she said, "Because they've taken Christmas away and they're calling it evergreen, and I'm fed up with it." And you know, people are seeing it, they're hearing it, they're feeling it. And I had an experience. Should I tell you my quick experience in Sainsbury's, which really cheesed me off? If you're listening,
Go on.
Sainsbury's, be ashamed.
Go on.
So I was in Sainsbury's and cash is king. And my shopping trolley came to £114. So I gave the cashier 120 quid, £20
Yeah.
notes. I just got from the cash point, right?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't go in his stupid machine. So I'm standing there for 5 minutes and he keeps putting it in the machine. It keeps spitting it out, putting it in, spitting it out. And in the end, he looks at me and he says, "Do you know if these are real?" And I went, pardon? And he said, "Well," he said, "there are some good fakes about." I said, "Excuse me." I said, "Are you accusing me of being some kind of money launderer and I'm hanging them out on my washing line?" I said, "I've just picked those up from the cash point." "Yeah, well, there's some good." He made me feel, he literally accused me of using fake money. He embarrassed me. He made me feel humiliated in front of a whole queue of people, not only, and then he said, "Have you got another way to pay?" And I went, "No," because I wasn't going to pay by card. And then he said, "Have you got some more notes then?" And I went, "Yeah, if you like." So I gave him more notes and the machine spat them out. So in the end, the manageress was called. The manageress came. She said, "If you'd like to wait there." So I was put in the naughty corner while she went and checked her machine. And then a young lad came back and said, "You're free to leave." I said, "Excuse me, are you saying that I've been detained?" "Yeah, you're free to leave." And I went, "Hang on a minute." I said, "I'm going to make a complaint." I said, "Number one, the manageress never came back to me and apologised. Number two, your cashier has embarrassed, humiliated me in front of a load of people and kept the queue stalled for nearly 10 minutes. Number three, you've just detained me and I wasn't detainable because I'd given you the money and I hadn't moved anywhere voluntarily." And the whole thing was absolute carnage. So if you're listening, Sainsbury's, don't treat your customers like that. Do not treat your customers like that. And a Merry Christmas to everybody else. Thank you. Rant over. I feel better now. No, it was. It really was.
It's outrageous, but they're making it where people are frightened of using cash and they just want that convenience, you know.
Use that cash. Use
Absolutely.
the cash. You know,
I was using cash. I was using cash recently, and the poor kid, say kid, because he was only a young man. He couldn't even count the change. He just didn't know. He looked at it like it was alien to him, you know.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy, really.
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
a tragedy.
I agree.
But what you were saying about New Labour could be banning Christmas songs in the pubs.
Well, that's not a surprise. One of the councils says they're going to fine you if you put a Christmas wreath on your door because it's health and safety, and yet they're quite happy for you to charge up your electric bike or your electric scooter in your front room in your multi-story apartment. You know, it's just listen, people are that the more stupid this becomes, surely the more people are going, actually, even if you say to people, if it's just Christmas that's cheesed you off, their approach to Christmas, their barbaric and heinous fines for putting up Christmas decorations, if that's cheesing you off, join everybody with everything. Anti-government tyranny, anti-totalitarianism. That's the message we need to be given for the new year, for 2026, in that let's just bring everybody together, regardless of your race, regardless of your religion. We are all anti what the government are rolling out.
What do you think hurty words should be allowed in comedy?
Yes.
So
they've always been allowed in comedy. Comedy was hurty words, and it was done in a way that wasn't vindictive. It's the intentionality behind stuff. You have to look at the intentionality. And if it's comedy, look at Katie Hopkins. She's a comedian.
Can I play you we need some comedy, don't we? We always need a laugh, don't we? So let me play some comedy for you.
I grew up in South London. Yeah. Now I live in Pakistan. I haven't moved. I haven't moved.
I mean, do you know what? It takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown. So it's good for you. And wasn't it called taking the mickey? I was brought up in the age of Love Thy Neighbour and the black and white minstrel show and all sorts of things. And you know what? If we went back to that until death us do part, I mean, there was lots of hurty words there. There was lots of hurty words in Love Thy Neighbour. But it was part of the comedy. It was part of British culture. And that's what's lacking now. It's this British. We've always said the British have got a weird sense of humour. We've always said that. That's what it means to be British. Exactly.
Proud of that. I mean, I'm a small Italian man. I've always been mocked for my size and this, that. But you know what? It's funny.
No, I know.
You know what I mean? It's funny.
I mean, I've got a massive big nose, and it's always.
Yeah, me too.
I've always had people say beaky, and they've called me all sorts of names, and yeah, they can be hurtful sometimes. But you know what? That's what life's a learning curve. You have to, if you can give it out, you've got to take it. And we all give it out, and we've all got to take it. And we're British. At the end of the day, we're British.
I'll just move very, very quickly to a couple of robot things before we close a few things off, because we are out of time. But I want to play these because I think you'll like these, Debbie, and I think that the people watching will like these as well. So there's been some robots deployed in the Boston Police Department as part of a pilot program to deter crime. Have you seen any of these?
I've seen AI Bobby.
Right. Well, these look absolutely ridiculous. These. I mean, I have seen some other things recently where people were pushing them over. And
There's one that looks like a waste bin. There's one that looks like a rubbish bin that I saw.
Yeah. Well, this looks like a bit of a bin.
Penguin. An owl.
What's happening?
Yes, I had to press the button to see what happened. What is the purpose of this machine?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Sorry, it's a bit noisy. What is the purpose of this machine, please? I've got the box. I know, we just wondered what this machine was for.
I'm sorry, what?
Why is this thing here on our camera? What is it for? What's the purpose? What's the point?
Is there someone inside there?
They can't even hear it, can they?
Well, I'm going to be looking up. That's part of my Christmas. I'm going to be looking up Nightscope. I mean, it was a joke. It's a joke. People are laughing. It's like it looks like a penguin or something. People are actually laughing. Where was it? Because that guy was British.
Yeah, he was British. It said it was Boston Police Department. That's the news I got. You'll like this though. Did you know that it was a power outage in San Francisco the other day?
I did.
Did you see it?
I did.
Well, let's play that then. So everything just stopped.
Yeah,
with all the autonomous cars, they just stopped. So there's loads of them just stuck there, holding traffic up.
Oh my gosh, how many autonomous cars are actually on the roads?
I have no idea. We'd have to look into that. But
But they all look the same model and the same color and the same.
Everything's the same. They want everything the same. They want everything in the world to be bland and boring, and everyone to be the same as well, because we'll have no identity and we'll be easily controlled because everything's just the same.
Not on Debbie's watch. Not on Debbie's world.
No, not in mine either. So
no, thank you.
But that's what they're wanting, aren't they? You know, it's just ridiculous.
Well,
anyway,
want all they like, but they won't.
Christmas time, we'll try and wrap up quickly. Did you see what Keir Starmer was having for his food the other day?
Oh, could it be anything to do with baked beans?
Yeah, did you see it?
I did.
Who has a plate of just beans?
Look,
Who?
everybody else has got. Well, I can see bacon. I can see egg.
But who does that? Who? That's not normal behaviour, that, Debbie.
But then
I
he's
like
not a
beans,
normal
but I need it with
person.
something. You know what I mean?
That's not a normal person.
Can't be,
Not
can
a
it?
normal person.
Did you know though that Labour, being the kind people that they are, you know, they basically are asking us to swap our turkey for red cabbage soup this Christmas to save the planet. Isn't that nice?
They're off their trolleys. They're off their trolleys. I've seen more people walking around with little boxes with turkey bits in and buying meat. The butcher was absolutely rammed the other day. People are still eating turkey for Christmas. Thank goodness.
Absolutely. We've got to keep the tradition. Whatever. The culture's important. They're trying to eradicate culture.
Of course they are. Of course they are. They're taking the Christ, as Tommy Robinson said, out of Christmas. It's become evergreen. Even, you know, for people that are watching abroad, in the United Kingdom, we say Happy Christmas. That's what we say. We don't say Happy Holidays. We don't use the term holidays. We say Christmas. And that's what I've seen is starting to be erased now, completely erased.
Yeah, as with a lot of other things, it's being erased, you know, sadly. The Royal Variety Show, which is a bit of a Christmas kind of annual thing. I haven't watched it for years and years and years, but there was a guy who did a Keir Starmer impression. Did you see that?
I did.
Which was pretty good, really. But the crowd weren't too impressed.
No. Well, I think they were.
Well, I think they were.
He was there as well, wasn't he?
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
It's so lovely to be here. I've actually developed a brilliant strategy for surviving the round table by making sure that no one will vote for me ever again. It's called being Keir Starmer.
Good.
I thought it was very appropriate with all the flames and the fire behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's end everything on the Emirates have done a little advert, haven't they? A little Christmas advert. You know, obviously it's AI, but it's nice what they've done. And you know, let's just wish everyone watching a Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas, Yule, whichever way you want to celebrate it. But you know, this is a time to enjoy it. You know, some time with family. Be present is key in this moment.
Absolutely. And even if you're on your own, and as I know a lot of people are, and there's a lot of Christmases, you know, I had to message, well, I phoned somebody, a friend of mine, because her young son died earlier in the year, and this will be their first Christmas without him. So a lot of people on their own where it's not such a happy occasion. And for those people too, just remember that you're never on your own. You never are. And there's always a hand to hold somewhere very close. And there's always someone to hear. There's always someone that can hear you as well. Yeah. So for those people that are on their own, that are not having a particularly happy time, we all have to band together, keep smiling, and we'll stick together for 2026. We'll stick together.
Yeah. So Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New Year.
Yes.
And we'll see you in 2026 with some more banter with Debbie. Much more.
We will. God bless everyone.
God bless.